Hi, and welcome to another edition of Strategic Business Insights. Today we're going to talk about negative motivation and how that compares to positive motivation. So what am I referring to here? Well, negative motivation is a motivation that comes out of anger, okay, or envy or jealousy, right? Whereas positive motivation might be like to be happy, right, or love, right, or world peace, right, to make things a better place, the world a better place. Negative motivation, by contrast, might be something like to prove those bastards wrong, right? You want to prove those, maybe someone made fun of you when you were a child, or maybe your parents were critical of you, or maybe both, right? And you want to prove those bastards wrong, okay? That's negative motivation. Now, which one's more powerful? Negative. Negative motivation is way more powerful than positive motivation, right? It would be great if the motivation for just happiness and love were super powerful. But the reality, I mean, they're powerful. There's power there, but it doesn't even compare to the power of negative motivation. Now, a lot of times when you hear success stories from people who are really famous or successful, right, quite often they are rooted in that negativity, right? They had a hard upbringing. They were made fun of. They were teased. People were critical of them in their own families. And listen, this was true for me too. When I was growing up, I got teased in high school quite a bit, and my parents were quite critical of me as well. So both happened, and I was angry. Like, I was really angry. I was depressed for a period of time, but more importantly, I was angry. And that is powerful motivation. I would never would have gotten to where I am today if it wasn't for that negative motivation. So embrace it. Don't feel like that negativity, you have to get rid of it in your life. There's a way that it's going to go away, and I'll tell you about that in just 2 seconds. But when it's there, you're angry, right? If you're angry, you got to embrace that. You got to embrace that negative motivation. You got to stay angry. You got to push. You got to fight through. You got to overwhelm your opponent. This is the way I've lived my life for so long. I used to say that my biggest motto behind my own success was brute force. Brute force. I just forced my way through. I overwhelmed my opponent. I worked so hard that nobody could deny me the success I deserved, right? Think about, just hear the tone in my voice. It was angry. I was angry, right? I got success through anger. And again, I know that there's negativity to it, but the bottom line is it's very powerful stuff. There's a lot of horsepower there. So embrace it to get to success. Now, here's where it's going to go away. And I've noticed this in the last 3 years of my life. I struggled like crazy. I mean, I had like 6-7 years where I just made like practically no money at all. And honestly, for that long, I mean, we're talking month after month trying to figure out how you pay your bills and stay solvent. And it makes you question your manhood. I mean, it just completely plays havoc on your confidence and your self-esteem. And now that I've kind of come out of it, I'm not afraid to tell you that there were times where I was just a shattered human being. I was just so angry and frustrated in my life. So maybe you know how I feel or how I felt. But here's what happened. Last 3 years, things have started to improve, like a lot. Right? It didn't go slowly. Like when I turned the corner pretty tight, and I started going up like this really, really quickly. And the last 3 years have been really astonishing. And I've spoken like all over the world, and I'm getting paid well, and all of a sudden things have really started to come together. And what's happened? The negativity is dissolving. It's not gone yet, but I can feel it in my own life. It's starting to dissipate, right? It's starting to go away. That negativity is starting to go away. And what's happening is I'm starting to want to share. I want to share what's happened in my life. That's why I'm doing this video series, is I'm trying to share my expertise, and it's fun for me now. And I never would have been like that before, but now the anger has kind of gone away. And so what you find with these successful people in the world is that at the time of their success, maybe they're doing an interview and they're just relaxed, and you can hear it in their voice that they're positive, and they're loving, and they're loving to themselves, but they're also loving to other people in their lives. Like, everything's pretty cool, but then they tell their story of like this crazy negative period which happened earlier in their life, right? What happened there? they came out of negativity and they fought like crazy to become successful. And when they came successful, that negativity dissipated. It went away on its own. Right? And people underestimate the struggle that led to that. It's like a caterpillar that goes into a cocoon and eventually comes out as a butterfly. And so when you see the butterfly, you assume it was always a butterfly, but it wasn't. It used to just be a caterpillar. It's the same thing, right? If you're negative today, you got to see a brighter tomorrow. You got to see the horizon of your goals being achieved, and you got to fight towards that. With all the negativity that you have, you got to focus it and fight and overwhelm your opponent and do all the things you need to do. And know that when you get there, that's when it's going to release. That's when those fists are going to go like that. Right? I'm right in the middle of this right now. For the last 2-3 years, I've noticed I sleep better. I'm a little more calm. I'm not out of the woods yet, but things are coming. So anyway, the moral of the story is, number one, negative motivation is way more powerful than positive motivation. So if you're angry, you got to embrace that anger and channel it. Channel it in the right way. Channel it towards your future success. And number two, know that when you get there, that negativity will release for the right reasons. For the right reasons. Right? That's very, very important. Thanks for watching this video. My name is Patrick, reminding you, as always, to think bigger about your business. Think bigger about your life.